Hey everyone, welcome. We are here for an exciting and very important sessions on History Entrance Exams 2025. Today programs is designed to help your strengths, your knowledge and boost your confidence with questions, clear explanations and correct answers that will guide you step by step. It is my pleasure to introduce our special guest, Dr. Han, who will lead this session. Dr. Han is highly experienced in teaching history and exam preparation. He will walk us through key concepts, explain tricky questions, and give you practical steps to succeed in your upcoming entrance exam. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Han as he began today's presentation on History Entrance Exams 2025.
Good day and welcome, students. I am Dr. Hani, and today we will discuss the History Entrance Exam 2025 of Ethiopia, Part 1, question number 1 up to 10. 1. What was the cause for the division of Islam into Sunni and Shia? A. Disagreement on the meaning of Sunnah. B. Disagreement on the meaning and role of the Caliph. C. Disagreement on how leaders should be elected. D. Conflict over who should be the next prophet. Explanation: why did Muslims split into Sunni and Shia? It wasn't about a new prophet. Muslims agree Muhammad is the final prophet. When Muhammad died in 632 CE, Muslims disagreed on succession. Sunnis believed the leader should be chosen by community consultation, shura. They supported Abu Bakr as the first caliph. Shia believed leadership should remain within the Prophet's family, al-Bayt, starting with Ali ibn Abi Talib as a divinely appointed imam. So, correct answer: C. Disagreement on how leaders should be elected. 2. What was the central idea of the Enlightenment movement? It argued that A. Human progress is a possibility through the use of reason. B. In order to become enlightened, one needs to believe in God. C. People could attain happiness only in the next world. D. All forms of government are oppressive and should be abolished. Have you ever wondered what powered the Enlightenment, the Age of Reason? Explanation: the Enlightenment was an 18th century intellectual movement in Europe that followed the scientific revolution. It emphasized logic, science, and rational thinking over blind faith and tradition. Thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu believed humans could solve problems and improve society through reason. Not about happiness only in the next world, right arrow, instead, progress and happiness here on earth. Not requiring belief in God, right arrow, some were religious, but many stressed freedom of thought. Not abolishing all governments, instead, they sought better systems like democracy, separation of powers, and citizens' rights. Core idea: the Enlightenment championed reason as the path to knowledge, progress, and human improvement. Enlightenment: reason is the light, right arrow, progress and change. Correct answer: A. Human progress is a possibility through the use of reason. Correct answer: A. Human progress is a possibility through the use of reason. 3. In what ways did the Almoravid and the Almohad movements strengthen Islam in North Africa? A. Continuously conducted military campaigns against non-Muslims. B. Re-established pure Islam in both belief and community life. C. Formed alliance with Christians against others' religion followers. D. Gradually attracted non-Muslims community to Islam. Explanation: who were Almoravids and the Almohads? The Almoravids, 11th century, and the Almohads, 12th century, were Islamic reform movements in North Africa and Spain, Al-Andalus. Both aimed to revive and purify Islam among Muslims who they felt had drifted from true practice. What they did: they emphasized a return to strict monotheism and Islamic law, Sharia. They enforced religious discipline in worship, society, and governance. Their campaigns were not mainly about forming alliances with Christians or just military expansion. They were not primarily known for slow, peaceful conversions. Their real contribution was to re-establish and strengthen pure Islam in both belief and community life. Correct answer B. Re-established pure Islam in both belief and community life. 4. What is the distinctive mark and achievement of Great Zimbabwe? A. Impressive stone building. B. Creatively crafted metal tools. C. Developed Ghana literature. D. Irrigation-based agriculture. Explanation. About Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe was a powerful African kingdom 11th–15th centuries in southern Africa. It served as a center of trade, connecting the interior of Africa with the Indian Ocean coast. Its achievement. The most distinctive mark of Great Zimbabwe is its massive stone architecture, especially the great enclosure and stone walls built without mortar. What make Great Zimbabwe world famous is its impressive stone buildings, symbols of its power and wealth. So correct answer, A. Impressive stone building. 5. How did Mansa Musa demonstrate the power and wealth of the Empire of Mali during the Great Africa? A. By sponsoring the writings of a chronicle about his Islamic activities in Mecca. B. By undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca and through his generous gifts from gold. C. By sponsoring the building of rest homes for pilgrims traveling to Mecca. D. By offering protection to merchants who traveled the trans-Saharan trade. Explanation. Who was Mansa Musa? Mansa Musa ruled 1312–1337, was the famous emperor of Mali, known as one of the wealthiest men in history. In 1324, he undertook a grand pilgrimage Hajj to Mecca. He traveled with thousands of attendants, soldiers, and servants. He carried enormous amounts of gold, which he distributed generously along the way. His gifts were so lavish that in Cairo, the value of gold dropped for years. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca, combined with his generosity in gold, showcased Mali's immense wealth and global influence. Correct answer B. By undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca and through his generous gifts from gold. 6. Why did Great Britain begin to advocate abolitionist movement of the 19th century? Because A. Free trade was confronted with the major slave trader states. B. Humanitarian actors condemned slavery as an evil act. C. Seasons of civil unrest began aggravated majority of the population. D. Industrialization forced them to abandon the use slave labor. Explanation. Background. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the abolitionist movement grew strong in Britain. Campaigns against slavery spread through churches, newspapers, and public meetings. Humanitarian and religious reformers such as William Wilberforce, Thomas Clarkson, and the Quakers condemned slavery as inhuman, immoral, and against Christian values. They collected petitions, wrote books, and raised public awareness about the cruelty of the slave trade. The strongest push came from humanitarian and religious activists who condemned slavery as an evil act that violated human dignity. Why not the options A, C, and D wrong? Because free trade issues are economic, but not the main moral reason. Britain was not facing massive unrest over slavery at home. D. Industrialization or factories relied more on wage labor, but this was not the driving factor of abolition. Abolition in Britain equals humanity before economy. Correct answer, B. Humanitarian actors condemned slavery as an evil act. 7. What was the major cause for the decline and eventual downfall of the Kingdom of Congo? A. Competition of the land and other resources. B. Focus on warfare rather than production. C. Prolonged Portuguese activities. D. Miscommunication by the man of Congo. Explanation. Background. The Kingdom of Congo, 14th–17th century, was a strong Central African state with close trade links to the Portuguese. Problem. While the Portuguese first brought trade, alliances, and Christianity, their deeper involvement, especially in the Atlantic slave trade, destabilized Congo. Consequences. Exploited divisions within the kingdom. Armed rival factions and fueled wars for captives. Weakened the authority of the man of Congo. Continuous interference led to Congo's collapse. Why not others? A. Land resource competition, right arrow not decisive. B. Warfare, right arrow fueled by Portuguese demand. D. Miscommunication, right arrow 2 minor. Key cause. Prolonged Portuguese activities, especially the slave trade and political meddling, caused Congo's downfall. White heavy checkmark, correct answer, C. Prolonged Portuguese activities. 8. What attracted the Dutch to initially settle at the southern tip of Africa? A. Abundance of minerals including diamonds. B. The exceptionally good weather in the region. C. The presence of a strong state power in the region. D. Desire to supply food items to passing ships. Explanation. In the 17th century, the Dutch East India Company (VOC) was establishing trade routes to Asia. Ships traveling from Europe to Asia needed stopover points for supplies. Dutch motivation. The southern tip of Africa, especially Cape Town, was a strategic resupply stat.